Stage and with the band here this morning. It's been a little while since you've been with our band, and I'm glad you're here, buddy. How are you?
Great to be back.
A lot of you know Mike. Mike's been a part of our band for 3 years, I guess, and so there's some things happening in Mike's life, all good things, and before we get to that, I want to just kind of recap, because we're going to be seeing less of Mike on stage. We'll still be seeing you.
Yes,
but a little bit less than Mike, and we'll talk about that here. But first of all, let's just go back to your God encounter here. Talk about your encounter with God at DCC since that Sunday you walked in the doors at Mercer Middle School.
Yeah, we were meeting at Mercer, and we were going to try 3 different churches. We usually, when we make a decision, we try different things, and then at least 3, and then make a choice. Yeah. And we came in here, and I loved the band, and Andy was leading at the time. And so we felt pretty moved in that respect. And at the time we talked about this, it was the sign ministry and the website that did it. Okay, we can't do that anymore, you just said. But the signs, we saw the signs and we went and checked out DCC and went, oh, this looks pretty cool. And really what did it was when Seneca went to Planet Faith, and we came out of, this is the first church that we tried, and we came out of the service, and she said, I don't want to try any other churches, I want to go to this one. So that's, you guys, kudos.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool. Okay, Mike is a professional musician. A lot of you know that. He did a concert for our church back, a couple of years ago when we moved in this place. And you tour the country every week. You do 4 or 5 shows a week for executives, and sometimes in stadiums and arenas. And
theaters, bowling alleys.
I personally have never been a big Hall & Oates fan, but you're spending part of today with Hall & Oates. They're at Wolf Trap and
John Oates and I got to know each other. We did a morning radio show in Chicago together. And, you know, I've been a fan for a long time, so Tara and I are going to he and I hooked up, and we're going to do some shows, some songwriter kind of shows later in the year together. But Tara and I are going to go over there for sound check, which is kind of cool.
Okay, so you've got a good rapport in the music world and a lot of attention, especially with what's happening now in Vegas, which we'll talk about. Let's just talk about why Jesus matters to you. With all the success and with everything going fast in your life.
Well, it's kind of like I guess the more you achieve, or the more you try to do stuff, the more you realize that that's really not what it's about in the long run. And I keep learning that lesson over and over again. And I just can't fathom doing it without Christ. Earlier when we talked about this, and you brought up that question. It's a great question, but in a way, it's kind of a silly question because I can't fathom doing it any other way. And in my faith walk, which has gone all over the place, the one thing that's remained is that peace with the salvation, with the long term of what life is about. It came that when I first said, "Okay, God, you know, I'm here, take me."
Yeah, and your story is remarkable, and I want to tell that story at some point at church. It'll take a while to tell, but your encounter with Jesus was pretty amazing. Hey, tell us now about what's going on in Vegas. Tell us about the show.
I've been a guitarist, comedian all my life, and one of the goals I've been writing down, and when I do corporate things, I teach goal setting sometimes. I always teach talking about what some people call dream goals, where you just write it down, you have no idea how it's going to happen, but you just write it down. And I had this idea that it would be fun to be able to have a theater show in Las Vegas or someplace similar where I could come home every day. I don't have to go out on the road and fly to all these gigs. And I've been writing this goal down for 10 years, and it fell in our laps literally about 3 months ago, where I'm in a show called, we put it together with friends of mine and my agent. The show is called Amazed, The Magic of Music and Comedy. And each show generally consists of a comic magician named Tim Gabrielson, a brilliant stand-up comic named Buzz Sutherland, and myself. I close the show. And because it's a revolving cast, we can each continue to do the shows that pay the bills that the careers that we've built, while trying to build this thing in Las Vegas.
So you're in most of the shows, but you can revolve out for a night or a couple nights.
Or to come here.
Like today. Yeah. Sure. And it's on the Strip.
It's on the Strip. It's called the V Theater in the Miracle Mile Mall. It's right next to Planet Hollywood, if anybody knows where that is. And it's I mean, you can get there from Planet Hollywood, but it's actually a mall. So, we have some people who are Christ followers. The real estate agent that's helping me out here, who said, well, can I bring kids to it without going through a casino? And I said, yes.
You've told me that just in the couple months we've been praying together about this, that you and Tara want to be an extension of DCC into Las Vegas. So just talk to us about that a little bit, because I think that's really cool.
Well, first of all, when you came over and we prayed about this and talked about it, and you said, I have this vision of Jesus getting on a plane and going to Las Vegas. Very few places need him as much as Las Vegas, but I hadn't thought of it that way. What I have thought of, and what is always, and it's very cool, and I feel pretty unworthy of that, but I so resonate with the message of DCC that you've articulated in many different messages, where to change the church in America, to change the perception of Jesus, because we've attached all this baggage to it, and people love the message of Jesus. It's just all the stuff on top of it that people don't like. And it's kind of like the Lord is my Savior, but these preachers got to go.
Most people are attracted to Jesus. They don't like the church.
Yeah, and so I totally resonate and identify with that message, and I know Tara does too. And so I always want to be a part of that wherever I go. And so, obviously I'll find a church out there that I'll go to, but in that respect, I will always be part of this, and I always want to come back,
and you will be back, and we're planning for you to be with the band again and leading worship times here at Dulles. So this is not, we're genuinely not treating this as a goodbye. You're already talking about your meeting in Northern Virginia that's coming up, and you'll be here. So we just wanted to talk this out as a church. This really is a step of Dulles Community Church into a great opportunity, a great situation where we can be Christ in a dark place.
Yeah, and I invite any of you, if you're interested in coming to that show, we're trying to build things and get things going, so it's mike@rayburn.com. You can email me or whatever, and I can hook you up.
Okay, before we go, a couple months ago on Twitter, he sent me a tweet that said, you've got to watch Henry Poole Is Here and consider it for the Summer Cinema Series. And that's our movie this morning. I would have never heard of it if it weren't for you.
I was on a flight, United Airlines showed it going west or east, and I watched it. And I usually don't watch the movies, and this one I did, and it just blew me away.
Yeah, cool. Well, lead us into the quiz.
Okay, if you look in your bulletins, you see this little green slip of paper? This is our little our contest, our little quiz. It says Henry's neighbor, referring to Henry Poole Is Here, Henry's neighbor Esperanza sees the image of God in A, a dream, B, in Henry's toilet, C, on a piece of toast, or D, on a wall of Henry's house.